All right. Hey, welcome to the Real Vino podcast, and this is Ray. You are back into the Vino Hour. I'm here with my man Chris. Chris, what's up, man?
What's going on, Ray? Welcome back, episode number 3. We're back in the building. What's going on with you, man?
Hey, man, it's a lot of madness, a lot of chaos going on around us, but we know we got our. We know what we supposed to be doing out here, right?
Absolutely.
This is, you'd be kind of foolish to ignore everything that's happening around you. Dave, how's it going with you, man?
Hey, just like everybody else, man. Sitting around watching the world burn. Still recovering from staying up until 4 a.m. Tuesday night, drinking a whole lot of bourbon. Because I wasn't going to sleep until they certified the damn vote.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an interesting week.
It's a little crazy, to just see that one person can totally divide a nation, right? Like he did.
Oh, and make no mistake, this is the first time in history where you've seen a sitting president of the United States encourage and foment sedition against the rest of the government. That has never happened. Not
intentionally. It wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
I think it's always been calculated, though. I think he's always had he's always had a trap door. That's what I think. I think he's speaking in kind of indirect terms when you look at some of the tweets and when you look at some of the stuff that he drops out there. He's sending a message, and if you're not smart enough, you would think he's just talking.
How great is it? How great is it though? He's been banned off Twitter.
Yeah.
He's been banned off Facebook.
Yeah.
He's been banned off Instagram.
Right.
He's been banned off every social media. Parler has been pulled from Google. Yeah. It's not available. It's about to get pulled from Apple devices.
Right.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, they're not playing anymore because you know why? And again, there's always politics behind everything.
Right.
The social media companies realize that there will be something happening under the Biden administration when it comes to the rules and regulations around social media, and they want to keep Section 230 in place, which is their protection against the content that other people post. And so they're coming down very hard and heavy to prove that they're on the right side and they're one of the good guys. But
they should come down with a pretty heavy hand on this one.
It's like the people that are resigning from his cabinet,
really
though.
Don't have a choice.
Well, yeah, it's like the people that are resigning. It's like, really, it took you until now.
Right.
Yeah.
It took you until there were 13 days left to finally realize that was something you didn't want to be associated with.
Right. Or
maybe
maybe they collectively just figured out there was a way to kind of, get around him, like being impeached in these last few days or something like that, because there's a method to all of this madness.
I truly hope they
this
do.
Man, he realizes there are people out there that they're waiting for his very, very word. There's a lot of things about this.
That's what I said. Honestly, the worst part
about this, and I don't want to drown it out in the show because we always talked about.
It's the hot thing of the
we
day.
don't talk about, but
it's the hot thing of the day.
There's a lot of things about this that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of extremists out there they're ready to do.
Well, when you send somebody on a mission,
right.
You're responsible if that person doesn't come back or not. So if you incite this, the bottom line is if somebody breaks in your house, you have the right to shoot them, right?
I understand that.
So you basically...
If you pull the trigger, you are responsible for where that bullet goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how that goes.
That's just what it is. So you send them in there. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say he sent them in there, but they went in there based off of his leadership.
Right.
Well, and you look at
he cost people lives.
So and that's
he's an accessory.
I did enjoy pointing out
what I mean?
that with the body count now at 5, from the Capitol Hill incursion. More people died on Tuesday than died from Benghazi, which he made such a big deal about because there were 4 people that died in that. Not that any death is light or whatever.
Just the point.
But it's
makes sense, man. That's what's been dominating the news over the last week. So,
and it's not over. It's not. This man has incited a lot. The president-elect.
Still 11 days left.
Yes, and he. I'll tell you something.
You do a lot of damage in 11 days.
I'm gonna tell you something as a black man that scares me. Is that
and candidly,
there were just things suggested throughout these campaigns that I don't particularly care for. Don't put a target on my back by saying that I need the black vote. Don't do that. Don't sell it that we would have gotten this without the black vote. What are you doing? This guy has people that are ready to jump with him at any moment. I don't need an extra target on my back. If you were going, do you understand what I'm saying?
I get where you're going.
I'm not 100% with you, but no, I understand.
I get it,
I understand.
But I view it as, dude, coming at it from a place of gratitude. Because let's be clear. Were it not for the Stacey Abrams of the world, were it not, that's a woman who they stole the governor election from her, and she went ahead and snatched that entire state back. Yeah. That is leadership in motion. That is, it is amazing.
Well, I don't think that there's a target. I think with the
you can't see the initial target going there though.
Well, with the police brutality being mainly focused on black people, that's the target. So I think that's more why the vote. It was more important for black people to vote because we were the ones with the issue. We were the ones protesting.
Well, and I think there's your big point of discussion.
They're telling us we need to, if you're going to protest, make sure you vote. I don't think that's a target, but I get where you're coming from.
Well, no, I see where he's going, which is and I don't know that it's a direct target. And I think that's I did watch a lawyer do a phenomenal breakdown of the call that he made with the Secretary of State from Georgia, as well as some of the other stuff in the past days, where he views it in the same context as like the federal government trying to prosecute a mafia don. A mafia don never says go kill him. A mafia don says things like, well, why don't you go take care of our friend? Why don't you, go see somebody? It's never explicit, but they get the convictions because common sense tells you what the implicit order was there. Right. Yeah. And so that's where some of that goes. And so, and then to your point, I think that's the one thing that, and it's starting to become a bigger deal. And this is the one thing that I was pointing out to a lot of my friends that were trying to draw some horribly false comparisons. Think back to the summer. Okay. When the Black Lives Matter protests were going on, and when they were quiet and before they even started, you had that Capitol building was flooded with what looked like military, folks in full body armor carrying assault rifles, gas masks, and that you couldn't get within 50 feet of those steps. Right. Let alone up those steps, on those steps, in that building. No way, right. Whereas now, with this, you got videos leaked of a Capitol Hill cop opening a door for people.
That's crazy.
That's an issue.
I'm telling you,
man. I think the best quote I saw was, y'all are asking where the cops are. Were you asking where Hannah Montana was when Miley was on stage? Like what?
That's crazy. What else is going on in the world, man? We've had this. We got sports back. It's football weekend.
We still here's the thing. Because at the end of the day, where do you see everything?
I'll be honest with you. I hope they impeach him for a very simple reason. I want if he does get impeached, he loses the ability to ever run for office again.
Right.
He loses his Secret Service protection for life, and I can't imagine. Like, who do you think has it worse, his Secret Service detail now, or the poor bastards that are stuck with him for the rest of his life?
Oh yeah.
Like, can you even imagine being those guys?
Right.
He loses $1 million a year travel budget from the Fed that we would be paying for. He loses hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in stipends that we would be paying for, if for no other reason than to remove him from our lives completely, impeach him, and just be done with it. I think the Article 25 thing is interesting, and I think that's a good argument to be made for it. But no, impeach him, cut him out, be done with it.
Be done with it.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan to you.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Hey,
I'm with you.
If you're in his seat, the smartest thing for him to do is just back off away from that seat and get out of the way.
You know what I thought? I'm not going to lie to you, and I posted it Tuesday morning. I said, you know what? I said, how weird would it be if Trump got up at this rally, and it was before he went on stage. I said, how weird would it be if Trump just got up and just to be petty said, you know what? I quit.
Yeah.
Pence, you deal with this shit. Mm-hmm. So that way, because his ego would then allow him to say, oh, well, you didn't fire me. I quit.
Right.
It would let Pence, it would force Pence to be the one to deal with Biden's inauguration and all that stuff, and would have given Pence 2 weeks to figure out how to pardon him. Yeah. Now, in hindsight, that would have been a much smarter move for him than what he did. So, yeah.
I think, it's all ego, and that's what's played into everything.
Oh,
that's what's governed this whole thing for the last 4 years.
And I think, dude, you can't.
It's his ego.
You can't get into that position without identity. Biden has an ego. I mean, he does a much better job of controlling it, I think, as far as we know. But I think, dude, George Washington said it. The person who wants the job the most is probably the person you want to have the job the least.
Right.
It's not like it used to be. Like, these aren't, God, we could get into term limits that we need and all that other fun stuff. I mean, the politics is not what it used to be.
Right.
I wish, I'm of the mind, bring back dueling on the White House lawn. You shoot your mouth off like that about people, and you can get called out and killed.
Right.
Bet you people calm down a little bit.
That'll do it.
Some major.
10 paces turning fire. Bet you're not gonna be that lippy.
2 + 2.
9 times out of 10, you want to pipe it all the way down.
Right.
So we got that still swirling around, and it's in the atmosphere. Everybody's trying to figure out, how we're going to recover as a nation from that. Then we still have the whole COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And then now we got another strand that's out there.
3.
Easily to be,
There's one coming out of England, one coming out of South Africa, South Africa, and one coming out of France.
Right. So now you have that.
Good news is, about an hour before your show, they did finally finish the testing with the Pfizer vaccine. Yeah. They know at least that one is proof against this new variant. Okay. They're still doing tests with the Moderna, but so at least the Pfizer vaccine is good against that one.
Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, you just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do to provide you a little bit of peace of mind out here in this chaotic. It's only going to get more chaotic, man. But try to maintain a little bit of sanity.
Oh, this place was nuts today. Like a couple out. Like, so I got here at about 2:00 today.
Yeah.
Just deal with stuff. I was as I was pulling up Peterborough.
Right.
There was a huge crowd of people out front, which means that's the line to get in before you get to the huge crowd of people. Because I think capacity is 120 back in the back parking lot now. When I walked in, they were quoting people waits of 2 hours.
Yeah.
And people were fine with that because this is one of the few places that's open.
Right.
But I do, to your point, I think people need a little bit. Like, you heard Whitmer, I believe it was yesterday, say, hey, she wants the schools to try to reopen by March 1st.
Yeah.
I think that's cute.
Yeah.
But how are you going to go there when you're still locking down the entire bar and restaurant industry
Right.
and playing with people's livelihoods? Because I have 2 kids,
Yeah.
and I was on Channel 4. They interviewed me They interviewed me last night. It played last night at 11. It played again this morning, and people were hitting me up about it. And it's the same thing I told them. I'm like, dude, you won't find anyone that says it's not the best idea for kids to be in school when it's safe.
Yeah.
Like schools are a petri dish. Like, and I get it, especially at bars. People have a couple drinks. People get a little loose. They start throwing their arms around everybody, and it gets, you can have a dangerous situation. But places like this that are seating everybody, like there's no. I truly think restaurants and bars have a PR problem as opposed to an actual issue.
And I think that, like you said, like with the whole school thing, it is like a petri dish because each kid, each parent looks at their kid different as being sick. Like, oh, that's not sick. You're fine, right?
Well, and
then
not
this
even
parent's like, I mean, this little guy could be miserable, but
look at the actual. I mean, so the ruling says you are not supposed to be seated at a table with anything more than 2 households. So, like, you and your aunt and uncle go out. Cool, you can be at a table together. But in a classroom where you got 20 to 25 kids, all from different households, how is that different?
right. I get your point.
I just want people to be
I don't
safe.
understand the whole logic behind a lot of the stuff that they're doing. It's just, I think everybody's flying by the seat of their pants trying to figure it out. And, we're making some mistakes along the way, but, I can't really fault them for.
Dude, I'm better safe than sorry. Like, and that's the thing. I am a huge proponent of everything that Whitmer has done thus far because I truly believe she has acted in everyone's overall best interest.
Right.
But to your point, it is dumb stuff. Like, so the big tent that's out back in the parking lot here, that's outdoor seating. That's fine. The tent in the courtyard right here, not outdoor seating.
Gotcha.
Because it's technically within the 4 walls of here, even though there's no roof, and even though those walls aren't within 10 feet.
Yeah.
So, which is it?
Right.
Meanwhile, you got people at Great Lakes Crossing hitting the food court, eating off trash cans, and that's okay.
Right.
You can go to the airport and sit down at the Applebee's in the airport and eat, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But not these places that are struggling.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to swallow.
That's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's a whole nother different level of stress on everybody trying to figure out how they're going to navigate, how they're going to get around in this. And then there is the other aspect of being in this environment and being caught up in everything that's going on, and that's actually your relationship goals. How is COVID affecting your relationship goals?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
That's,
everybody's on this quarantine. Every time you turn around, everybody is trying to be safe and wear a mask and all this other stuff and watch who they're hanging out with and all this other stuff. How's that affecting your ability to get off in a relationship? Has it made you look at different requirements and lessen them, or I'm not trying to say that you had high standards. I'm not trying to say that. I just thought about what I said. When I thought I said, let me say, my man,
they're not unreasonably high.
I'm not just saying. I didn't think you was being ridiculous. But,
No.
that's not what I'm just like. Let me just go clear it up with you.
No, man.
You're my guy. I rock with you.
Nah, man, it's all love, man. I think everybody who's worth something has high standards.
Right.
If you feel like you have a certain worth, then your standard it should be at least you. So if I feel like I'm here, I should deserve that. But as far as dating during the COVID, man, that is you have to be more creative.
Yeah.
A lot more safe, but I would like to think that I've practiced safety before COVID.
Right.
So I didn't need COVID to teach me how to wash my hands and keep and not dig in my nose. So
Right.
I was pretty hygiene efficient prior to COVID. so that didn't change things too much. But I think that you just more creative, more time at home, more conversation. So I know I'll say that I've dated a person during this time, and I've never talked to someone as much because we're both working from home. We can't go anywhere, so I've never had this many phone conversations while dating someone. Especially someone that I'm not living with, or something like that. So that was like, I'm a talker, but it's like, man, I need to get off this phone. You know what I mean? But like, we can't go anywhere. We can't see each other necessarily. So that's where the communication starts. So I have to talk more than I'm used to talking. But outside of that, you get to learn women a lot more. I'll put it that way because you have a lot more communication. So I can delve in more into that as well, but I'll let you go.
Keep diving.
I'll let you go.
Keep diving.
But
Keep diving into it because it's. I think everybody's going to have a different perspective on what their standard is and what they're going to live with, what they're not going to live with. That's male or female.
All right, I'll give you an example. I was talking to a person. No,
Wait a minute. Before I just want
I'm not going to mention any
because
names.
Dave, are you a big phone guy? Do you have to like be on your phone, like talking on your phone all the time?
Talking on my phone all the time? No, dude. If you call me, I like my voicemail literally says, "Why are you calling me? What's wrong with you? Text me."
Right. So I'm not being ridiculous for not wanting to talk on my phone all the time.
But so like, but I get it.
Right.
Like especially like there's one of the other shows on the network, The Reasons Why I'm Single Girls. Love them. I keep hearing about their Zoom dates.
Yeah.
And like and what they're doing in that world. And dude, I've got my Zoom bar nights that I do with my friends, probably once or twice a week.
Okay.
And like that's kind of the equivalent. And I think to your point, I think a lot of people are just trying to be more creative while staying safe.
Yeah.
I've done that. I sat with my laptop and cooked dinner.
Right.
And we're Zooming.
Yeah.
And having dinner together and watching the same movie in the background. I mean, it ain't my ideal date, but
I guess we're doing what we got to do, right?
It's a crazy world. Although then you got the flip side. I got a buddy of mine who's I'm sorry. His title is the chief storyteller for the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Love the guy. I'm sorry. The title just makes me laugh. Love you, Eric. He had posted not too long ago, and he's like, I got a lot of my friends that are popping pregnant on my timeline. He's like, what the hell are y'all doing during COVID? And I was like, Eric, you can't even talk people into wearing masks. You think they're wearing condoms when they get together?
Right. Hey,
card carrying number. We don't play like that.
In times like this, it just brings you closer to the person that you're already with, because you don't know what's getting ready to happen tomorrow. I think it can
go either way.
Okay.
It can bring you closer, or this can be the killing stroke.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of divorces going on. There's a lot of breakups going on. And I think as people have been forced to be closer to whoever they were with, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
either way, it's a good thing.
Out here right now, are you willing to gamble and just be with anybody, or are they going to have to totally meet your standard?
Yeah, you have to meet a standard. Yeah, you absolutely 1,000% have to meet my standard.
You're not going to gamble in this atmosphere. In this atmosphere, she's gonna have to be the one, or she's not the one.
Man, I'm not compromising and sacrificing without COVID. I have a standard of what I expect the female to be, based off of what I know I do, based off my responsibility as a man. So that standard that I have for myself, you have to match that standard.
Right.
COVID, no COVID, you have to match that standard, regardless. It's just what it is. I don't try to be a good guy and try to be a solid dude and work every day and try to provide for myself to have someone below standard.
Okay.
Like I don't think women do it. I don't think a woman is gonna go out here and bust her ass all day, all week, and get manicures, pedicures, hair done, taking care of herself, not to have a man that matches that whatever her standard is. I may not agree with your standard, but go have what you think is your standard.
I'm just gonna say I'm laughing because of the conversations that I was just hearing in the last show that ran in here, and I told you about this.
All right.
Where it's funny. I don't want to dive too, but apparently in that community, like two of the girls were saying, like it cracks me up that these girls are losing their mind over trolls. Like guys that have, that are just hideous and have nothing to offer, but because of that culture in that community, they're supposed to like be attached. They're supposed to, be, a thing. And like these are some good looking women sitting in the studio.
And just when Dave said that, I said, these people sound like somebody Chris needs to have a conversation with.
Well, next time get here an hour earlier.
CFI.
But no, I mean it is. I mean it is funny. Like I've watched both happen.
Yeah.
I've watched people. I have friends that have lowered their standards ridiculously, just to scratch an itch.
Right.
I've had other friends that have basically just said, I'm going out of my mind because I refuse to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't go out of my mind. I keep a happy medium. I mean, I'm gonna try to say a lot without saying much. There's people in your life that hold certain responsibilities. So sometimes if you need a scratch itched, certain people have certain responsibilities. So it's not that bad.
At the end of the day, if that's what you are into, that's what you're into. I'm just saying, like, if you're out here and you're trying to move a little bit different, and it's a COVID environment, and the whole dating game is all messed around because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you lowering your standards so that you can get what you want?
Well, I think
I think that's a never-ending question. That's an age-old question. Are you looking for Miss Right, or are you looking for Miss Right now?
No, that's going to be an issue regardless, because you can have standards, but a person may be worth adjusting to.
Right.
A person may be worth compromising and saying, okay, I could take that. Your positive outweighs your negative.
Right.
So yeah, it may not be what I've written down and scripted for myself, but you can definitely make an adjustment. Depending if I'm worth it, I would like a female to look at my positives.
Right.
And say, well, he's a better guy than not. You know what I mean?
I mean, he ain't 6 foot.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he's got this.
He did only say that after 2 bottles of wine.
He still has a shirt on. We can make adjustments, but I would never change the core.
I do, because there is another show, and I listen, and the two girls that run the show, and it's funny because they're both in their mid-30s, and they're both stunning,
right?
But they're like, nope, they're like, if he's not at least 6 feet tall, I ain't talking to him, and I'm like, do you even understand?
O.J. Simpson is 6 feet tall,
right? Yeah, dude, the guy from Ernest Goes to Camp is 6 feet tall. Doesn't mean
good luck.
If so, they're
like you can look up to a man without needing to look up to a man.
30s, they're in their 30s, mid-30s. They're not changing their perspective on what they want at all.
Oh,
Should you?
I flat out asked them during the episode if I should buy them a cat.
I'm not.
Right.
If you're not willing to bend,
should you change?
get the cat.
Should you change?
I'm not changing.
You know, I mean,
I will adjust, but I'm not changing. No, I'm 42. I'm not.
I feel like you need to understand the meaning of the word synonym, because adjust and change are pretty close.
yes.
No, they're not. There's a thin line, true, but
I mean, there's major change and there's minor change.
There's a difference between changing who you are and making some adjustments.
Oh,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, going back to what I was saying before, do you sacrifice who you are just to get into a safe, comfortable environment?
Nah, I'm already where the peace at. I am peace. I don't have any baggage. I don't have children. I'm where the peace is.
Okay.
So there's no need for me to have to make changes to be comfortable. I'm already comfortable.
Yeah.
So I don't need anybody else to make me comfortable.
Right.
So honestly, and I hate the way this is gonna sound, but a lot of single women that are my age have children. They're divorced. They've gone through a lot, and they have exes, and the children. They're not with the dads of the children.
Yeah.
And when that person suggests I change, or when that person suggests that I make adjustments, it's harder to make adjustments for that person, because if I'm accepting multiple people and you just accepted me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm not. I don't come with 2 or 3 kids and an ex-wife and a baby mother or whatever. I have an ex-wife, but I don't talk to her. She lives in another
You might not
state.
have that, but
So
I feel like once you hit a certain age, and
you have to adjust to me if you have more baggage than me.
And that's what I was going to say. I feel like
I'm
once,
not
like,
adjusting to you.
because we're all in our 40s at this point, and we all have baggage.
Mm-hmm.
The question is just how ugly and mismatched is it, and how well do you carry it? Like those are the big questions, because I mean, like, we've all got issues, we've all got baggage, we've all got.
But don't you think that a lot of it depends on how you can manage it too?
It absolutely does. But that's the biggest point,
the good
dude. If
thing
you're a
about
train wreck, you're a
baggage-
train wreck. You can be a train wreck in your
Baggage
20s.
can be mental.
yes.
That like you can have a certain personality.
Right.
You can have that type of baggage.
Yeah.
But the physical baggage is a little difficult.
Yeah.
When you have to deal with multiple people,
Right.
that baggage can be difficult. If people have to have things in perspective and in place. But everybody, like to Dave's point, everybody has
I think that
something going on up there where they have some baggage.
you know what? You're 100% right, and he is 100% right. Like, that is a different type of baggage that you have to deal with. But here's what I say to that. Is that baggage going to break me? Because if I'm already
Name
of
your
the
price.
mental.
I don't even think it comes down to
I
break
name my
you.
price
To his point, I don't think it's about is it going to break you. Is it worth dealing with?
Right.
Dude, my first wife, my first wife had an ex. She had a kid from that marriage, and it made me laugh.
Right.
That I made more money than him, and he was still paying child support.
Right.
Because the couple times he tried to be an asshole, I played that card. I'm like, dude, what are you even thinking?
Right.
This, here's how hilarious your life is. You really want to? Are we gonna flex?
Right.
Like, do we have to? do we have to pop him out on the table and measure? Like, really? Are we gonna go there?
Big bank play little bank.
Right. And I'm like. So that's but she was worth, well, at the time, because I did say first wife, at the time she was worth dealing with,
Right.
That kind of nonsense for, and I think that's the one thing that I've noticed as I've gotten older is my tolerance level for BS has gotten lower.
Right.
Like, there are a lot, I'm willing to be flexible and accommodating on a lot of things. I really, really am.
Right.
But if you hit one of those hard triggers, bye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I said that is it gonna break me? I don't mean like from I consider myself full blood male.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a situation.
Dude, you could not have any more bass in your voice and have our mics pick you up.
But I'm not going to, like, there's not a responsibility that I can't handle. What I think that changes everybody's viewpoint is your discipline. Your discipline keeps it together.
Yeah.
Your discipline keeps it right. Like you said, you're not coming with a whole lot of baggage, but what you're coming with is something that discipline that works for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what works for you keeps it together.
Yeah.
Because you've had nothing but 20, 25, 30 years of proof to prove it to you.
Yeah.
You learn from your lessons, so you know what your discipline brings to the table is going to benefit
I touched on this.
you and yours. And that's why I say,
I touched on that before.
that's why I say, like, I'm not worried. Like,
Yeah.
I'm 48. I have no kids. I want kids. But I'm 48. I don't have any kids. I want kids more than anything. Like, that's like my biggest thing.
That's what ended
So
my
it's
first
like-
marriage.
It's like, you know, I am going to, going back to what we were saying about changing.
Yeah.
My perspective, it is changing. Because what if what I'm thinking I'm going to be able to get or want is not going to happen? Then I got to change. I got to change everything. I got to look at what works. I got to have faith that what I'm looking at is going to work, right?
But
And
you
I
know,
just run with it.
But you know what works for you. You know, at the end of the day, through your life experiences,
Right.
you already know what works for you.
Yes.
And I guess my thing is finding someone that's worth proving it to.
Right.
Like, I don't want to show my worth to someone and then that person's not worth that effort.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I hate to say it because I'm not a basher. Like, I don't bash women, but y'all ain't the only ones that got this thing figured out either.
Right.
You know, to sit here and have expectations of a man and not expect that man to have expectations of you,
Right.
then we can never see eye to eye.
Yeah.
I have expectations of a woman. I'm unapologetic about it.
Right.
And I know women look at me or could say, I don't like the way his viewpoint on this or that or this.
And I think
you gotta
whole
you got to take that with a grain of salt because
that-
I'm never going to change that point of
I'm
view.
gonna tell you something that's never that is like.
But you got to come
for-
over here.
for-
You got to come over to my side. I'm
I'm
where
gonna
the
tell you
peace at.
something. Not all men.
And you got to
are-
trust leadership.
Not all men are thinking and wanting the same thing. So don't put yourself on like this pedestal that, well, they all think the same. They all want the same thing. No, they don't.
No.
Because what
Very
is so pure and precious to you, like that's pure and precious to me, but that's not what I need to sustain a relationship with you.
Right.
What you think is that A1, that's not what I'm even thinking about.
No, just
That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm in my late 40s, man.
learn how to be
I'm not
quiet.
20-something no more. So I learned a lot from everything I've done that, look, this is how you have to start doing some things a little bit different. And
Yeah, I'm with you. My whole thing about the relationships and females, COVID, non-COVID, my whole issue with that is understanding that with females understanding that we're not equal.
right,
We're equal from a humane perspective, where we have to treat each other nicely, be there for each other.
So do you mean that do you mean like they're not equal as in like you're from an emotional standpoint or from an intellectual like standpoint? Like what are you saying? Like,
I think it's more from a physical standpoint.
Right. Well, that's obvious, right?
And when I mean physical, I mean responsibility, like things that we physically do.
Right.
There's a difference. I have a different set of responsibilities than you.
Right.
So if my role as a man is to be a leader,
right,
is to be a provider and protector. And according to what I was taught from my parents, according to what the Bible says, if everybody, I mean, I don't practice everything, but I have morals and standards.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's written in the good book that man leads and woman submits to that leadership.
Right.
So if you can't submit to that leadership, there's nothing that me and you can really do after that.
Yeah.
You know, so as far as being in a relationship,
and I can see your perspective. I can see your perspective on that. And this is why
I can't be equal to someone who submits to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm equal to you as far as I have to respect you. I can't beat you. I can't cheat. I have to be a good guy to you.
Right.
But I am here. I am the lead. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like there's a level. Right. You're one.
So
one
you
B.
just like
I'm one A. You're one B. But we're not here.
She's got to respect the headship.
Two people can't drive a car, man. That's as simple. Like two people can't. Somebody got to drive and somebody got to ride shotgun.
I understand.
That's two different responsibilities. So that we're not equal.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm just saying that out here today, that's not the mindset that's out there, right?
That's not my problem. I have nothing to do with it.
So, going back to my original question.
What's that?
Are you changing your standard based on what's going on around you? And the answer is no.
There is a woman out here that...
The answer is no.
That understands what I'm saying.
The reason why...
a lot that don't.
The reason why
I'm not going to change, no.
The reason why the answer is no is because I've learned from my past mistakes. I bumped my head. I've got my bruises, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And being disciplined is what paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Being disciplined is what paid off. So when you're dealing with me, you're dealing with a guy that's got a whole nother set of discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Makes sense.
I can eat out whenever I want to eat out, right?
Yeah.
I can go wherever I want to go, right?
Yeah. Do whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a different, it's not as much.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that I got there, and it's through discipline. So if you're going to rock with me, let me get us there.
That's all.
If you can't rock with me, then I understand it.
Yeah. Don't don't suggest that. I don't think women should suggest that everything is equal, and then I'm not going to give you my responsibilities. You know, so don't suggest we're equality in the human. We're equal in the human form.
Right.
But I'm not equal to my supervisor. I'm not equal to the person that I follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that
you got
doesn't make sense.
I just want to ask you one more question before we close out the show.
Sure.
And what is your? I already know what I'm thinking.
Oh shit! Here
right
we go.
To this question.
What's going on?
If you
pins and needles. Where's the Jeopardy music?
Yeah. This is. What is it gonna take for you to just lock it down?
Oh, that's going back. I'm happy you brought that back up because we finished the first episode on that, and I've had time to elaborate. So,
I think now is the time that you got to be serious about it, right? Because
let me take the time.
Dave, we're in like this big COVID environment of
Listen,
all kinds of crazy chaos. We got a guy that's like, as soon as he tweets or sends out anything, he sets all this action in motion. Like, we have to be ready for.
But you know what? You have to admire their commitment. They don't want to wear masks going to the grocery store. They don't want to wear masks to avoid facial recognition in videos when they're storming the Capitol building. I mean, you got to admire the dedication, if nothing else.
Yeah, true.
They're consistent.
So
I admire someone sticking to their guns. Like, you have your standards, they have theirs.
hey, all we trying to figure
I'll
out.
be wrong.
All we trying to figure out.
But it works for me.
It works for him, right? So it's like you can't again, and like Dave just said, like there was a couple of females that was saying like he got to be at least 6 feet tall.
Well, no,
I mean that's like a requirement.
I haven't even given a description. My description is never physical. There's certain things about the woman like being attractive that I like.
Yeah.
But I want to love a woman from the inside out.
Right.
So my biggest issue is your personality. Are you authentic? Are you genuine?
Yeah.
Are you is this a representative? I can sing you to the nail salon.
Yeah.
I can get that hair done. You're gonna look good.
Right.
With or without me. You know what I mean? But so the physical part of it is the easy part. But the inside is where the struggle comes from. And I think as a single man, my reputation sometimes, speaks for itself. And I get looked at like,
talk to me about that.
Oh, he's this, he's that. But
right.
I really, really want to be home with a set of feet on my lap.
Yeah.
I want to be at home with Netflix and chilling.
You're a simple guy.
I'm a very simple guy.
Yeah.
But I have things that I just want that I don't compromise for.
Right.
But
yeah, I'm just gonna put this out there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Almost every person in my life
Yeah.
that has ever described themselves to me as a simple person
Yeah.
has been pretty damn complicated.
I'm not complicated. I'm not complicated.
I'm just gonna say.
Well, Dave,
Right.
I'm admiration.
Yeah.
You've met that one person that told you the truth.
Right.
Okay.
I leave my house once a week. Like I work from home. I'm surprised when my gas tank is on E. Like, where the hell have I been?
Yeah.
I'm extreme. I'm more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more introverted than extroverted.
Right.
If I'm not here, I'm in my basement. Yeah.
So it's. What do you want to eat? What do you want? Whatever. What do you want? I don't care. Like I'm extremely nonchalant. I'm just serious about what I'm serious. What I'm serious about, I'm dead ass serious about.
Yeah.
Everything else, we can work out. But there's
simple enough.
But there's some things that I absolutely 1,000% don't budge on, don't play about.
Right.
And that's just what that is.
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm sipping some wine trying to make somebody laugh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be silly. I'm like.
How you feel about the female that's got to get like body work?
Save your money. Save your money. You're gonna be 70 one day, shorty. Save your money.
I'm waiting for like
your natural body is gonna take over. I don't care what you do. You're gonna be 80. You're gonna be 65 years old, baby. That's not gonna look the same. So you might as well just keep your money and work out. And
do you think they're superficial, Dave?
Nah.
Do you think they're superficial for doing that? Like,
as long as they're doing it for themselves, no. Do that. Like I know quite a few women that
like
have gone
if you're saying like they just need that for just like their.
Whether it's their own confidence, their own whatever. If they're doing
my
it,
opinion is extremely immature. I'm sorry, but
if they're doing it because
one, and I want to get to it too. But
no, if they're doing it because their man wants them to do it, or they're doing it because they want to get to a certain kind of man, that kind of stuff, then mother of God, no. But like if because I know, girls that have gotten implants. I know girls that have gotten this done, that done, the other thing done, and 99 times out of 100, if they did it for themselves, they're still happy with it 10, 15, 20 years later.
That's what's up.
If they did it for an external focus, they're miserable within a year.
Right.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
because now that person is not even in your life anymore. And,
Yeah, you still got these
and you-
giant
and you-
basketballs on your chest,
and
and
you
all
stuck
they do
with
is
that.
make you think of Steve that dumped your ass.
Right. Now you gotta pop that motherfucker. Hey, what's your take on that, man?
I think that I feel like, yeah, if you feel like you need to do it to boost your self-confidence, then go ahead. But you know, like for me, I'm a simple guy. I'm not looking at that.
Nah, I don't care about all
That don't mean nothing to me.
No.
You know why it don't mean nothing to me? Because it's not tied to how I feel. It doesn't. It's not tied to any emotion that makes me feel the way I feel about a woman. It's not, man. You know?
Don't get me. Like I've always said, my biggest problem in life, or my biggest challenge, is nobody looked across a crowded, smoke-filled bar and went, "Damn, that guy's funny."
Right.
Right.
I just feel like, you know,
personality
hey,
is the last
like,
thing you get to meet.
yeah, you know, if I can talk to you, if I can talk to you, you can, you know, have a real good civilized conversation with me, man. You got a shot.
Oh man, if I can sit you,
You
down,
know what I mean?
if I can sit you down for 30 minutes,
You know, you
we
got a
gonna
shot.
get along.
But if
It's
this,
just that initial part of it.
you know, like, like, man, I've done everything. Like I'm 48. I don't have no kids. I've always wanted kids. Man, I've been everywhere I wanted to be.
I can dig that.
I've traveled other than outside of the U.S. I've been everywhere I wanted to be. So
Yeah.
it's like I want some kids, and so I am gonna look at somebody that has kids.
That's not out of the
I am
question.
gonna look at like
No.
only because I know that I'm like we're gonna. This is not going to be a waste of time situation.
Yeah, but to be clear, the thing about baggage, the thing I'm going back to that, it's not dating a woman with children. Just have your affairs in order.
Right.
It's not about man. If I plan on being in a relationship at this age and I'm excluding women with kids, I might as well cut off 75% of my demographic.
Right.
So I'm not that ignorant, but I would expect the woman to have her affairs in order.
Well,
Don't
the
make
only
me
thing-
make this. If you're gonna co-parent.
Right.
But when you involve me, I'ma deal with it the only way that I know how to deal with it.
Right.
So make sure you have your affairs in order, because once I'm involved, it may. We don't know how it's gonna go.
I
We
just
don't know
think that-
how the thing's gonna be. So
Right. Right. And I think that
have that in order.
everyone needs to have a game plan on where they're going to end up, because Dave, your man's is trying to incite a civil war. And
All right.
it is
Problem
so-
number one: do not call him your man when you're talking to me. Because
That's your man's, Dave.
like
This
we
is your-
we might both be white,
I got you.
but that's about
Much
where the
respect.
story ends.
Much respect. Much respect.
Like I'm the guy posting
no
all
disrespect.
I'm the guy posting all the honky Kong memes with the guys climbing up the wall. Like that's
Right. The next round's on me.
That's funny.
But this whole thing about putting your life in perspective is this guy has the ability to incite the next civil war.
I think he tried to. I truly believe that if he had his way, because I mean I looked at several friends who were trying to draw comparisons between what happened on Tuesday and the Black Lives Matter,
Right.
Riots or whatever you want to call them over the summer, and I said you're right. They do have one thing in common:
Right.
Trump and his rhetoric. He sat there and called them thugs. He called it baseless.
Yeah.
He said it was stupid.
Yeah.
He said if they start looting, we start shooting.
Right.
He was trying to put the military in to knock that shit down.
Yeah.
So there was one thing in common:
Right.
Trump
Yeah.
and his bullshit.
Mhm.
But other than that, no, those are two people. And I think the best quote that I saw was, "Nobody is asking you to shoot them like you shot the Black Lives Matter
Right.
protesters.
Right.
What we're asking for is for you to not shoot the Black Lives Matter protesters like you didn't shoot
Right.
the Capitol Hill protesters."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what and see. This is why, like, I think like deeper about a whole lot of stuff, like about getting your act together, getting your business together, so that you can do what you need to do in this life. Again, going back to relationships, and you dealing with all of that in mind. At this point, if you are caught between the rock and the hard place, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you want to do it. You don't know. It's time to make a decision.
It's time to make a decision, man. It's time to. 2021 is underway.
Yep.
So, hey, man, it's a good conversation again,
Absolutely.
and we're gonna wrap up. We'll come back next week with episode number 4 next week,
That'd be number 4, right?
and let's do it again. Thanks, Dave,
Dave.
for chiming in.
Always a good chat.
Yes.
Always.
Appreciate the company, man.
Appreciate you guys.
My boy.
Yep. Always.
See y'all next week.
We out.